Juanita. I mean, you heard Sanders there. Sinema's decision, it doesn't seem like it's going to alter the workflow in the Senate. It's more about the politics on the ground in Arizona. I wonder what you make of the move.
Look, of course, Democrats are holding the line, saying it was 51 before, it's 51 now, but I think their lives just got a little bit harder, right? Like, think about it. Senator Schumer was so excited about Senator Warnock's reelection. He literally met him outside on the sidewalk to welcome him back into the building. And now this throws a wrench into all of that, because instead of Warnock being the cherry on top of this history-defying midterm election cycle, now they have to deal with Senator Sinema as an independent. And though she's holding her committee positions, though she's caucusing with Democrats, we know that leaves her wide open and receptive to Republican donors, corporate donors, other individuals who could influence how she behaves on those committees and how she behaves within the Democratic caucus. Because as Senator Sanders said, she has sabotaged key parts of the Democratic agenda before. I expect her to do it again. I think this move was yet another example of that sabotage, too.
Judith, on the other hand, Democrats have that 51-seat majority, as Juanita just said, thanks to Senator Raphael Warnock's runoff against Herschel Walker in Georgia. I wonder what you think Democrats should take away from that broad coalition that Warnock built to win a state in the Deep South. I think it has now become to us, because this has happened twice in the last 2 years. We've stopped talking about how remarkable it is the Democrats are winning in Georgia.
I mean, it's very exciting to have this win in the runoffs. And she did kind of throw egg on their faces, like, hold on, not so fast. But, the business is going to get done. We still have a problem that they don't control the House. But Sinema, she was against the Voting Rights Act, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. And so we shouldn't expect that she's going to act very differently. And I think that the party will continue to try and move what they can, including judicial nominations, which we know are really important. In fact, we have two voting rights lawyers that we're waiting to get through that confirmation process. So hope that it can happen. But, at the end of the day, Sinema was just really about saving her own butt. Right? She's like, I got to go home. I might run again, and I got to make sure that I'm good, and I don't really care about you all.
So, Juanita, I do want to make sure that we talk a little bit about Georgia, because that would have been the entire premise of coming into this weekend, if not for this recent news about Sinema. And, there was so much talk during the general election. There was so much talk in the runoff about what a terrible candidate that Walker was, that it almost overshadowed what a strong and disciplined candidate Warnock was. And listen, I don't need to tell the two of you, there are a lot of players in Georgia that made that possible, starting with Stacey Abrams and a whole cohort of organizers who have really committed to the state, built linear infrastructure, understood it's not about one election or two. It is about systematically changing the state. But with Warnock specifically, I mean, I wonder if we are going to see him as a rising star in the party and sort of the shape you think that could potentially take.
Absolutely. We should all see Senator Warnock as a rising star, because what he did was not only have appeal to Democrats, he also ran on an agenda that had progressive components about access to health care, about access to abortion, about access to basic resources that families and people struggling need. What he also did was appeal to independent voters and some of those conservative Republicans who didn't want anything to do with a Trump acolyte like Herschel Walker. And so I think that model is something that Democrats can absolutely replicate across the country as far as selecting different type of candidates, because we know that Senator Warnock is a strong candidate. Honestly, his name shouldn't even be mentioned with the other guy who was on the ballot in the runoff, because there's so much space between them. And so I think Democrats can absolutely use this as a model when it comes to selecting future candidates that they're going to run in statewide races across the country, especially in 2024 with a lot of Senate seats that'll be up.